approve the minutes from May 13th. Everybody see them?
Yep.
What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of May 13th as written.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Just agenda? No. Here, citizens?
This is gonna be a little me and a little bit of Rick. So you all know about the Black River Valley Resources Group. I've told you about that before. It's the long-term recovery group that FEMA encouraged us to form of Cavendish, Ludlow, Plymouth, and Mount Holly. And there was a lot written up in recently about it, but we do now have a construction case manager who can work with families that were impacted by flooding to finish up the last of the work that needs to be done. Now starting on hazardous mitigation, Bob, I sent you a piece
Yes,
and
I
to
got
Bobby about the $90 million that has come out. And you do qualify, but you'll have to do it through the fire department for a
Yeah,
generator.
but
Okay,
I've got an
and,
electrician coming to
good.
give me a price on them.
Okay, and if you need help, I am more than happy to come over and help you, as will be Melissa, because we think that's really important. Obviously, Rick knows about that. We have some standing committees now. One of them is on housing, immediate housing, when a disaster happens, where do you put people? But then we also need more long-term temporary housing, like 3 months. I think the longest we had anybody out of their home was 6 months, but everybody is back home. And then what happens, the worst case scenario, and looking at long-term housing, which I know is a planning commission activity. But we are getting lots of information, so we're working on that. We have two other groups. One is to really look at having a real advocacy program for people that are having to deal with FEMA. We have found that some people got a lot of money and some people that should have gotten a lot of money got nothing. We don't want that to happen again, and we are doing some filings as we speak. And then the third one is preparedness, and we're doing a lot of materials to work on that. I did connect with Beekman House. We will be working with them, because last time we had about the entire place there, but if they should have to be somebody for 5 or 6 days, we want to look at some options to help them. We will have go kits for people in Cavendish. It looks like the supplies just came in. That's with Cavendish Connects money, nothing from the town. That will help people literally grab and go if they have to, and we will work with them to fill it out. I've been talking to the fire departments about what you want on there. I know one request was to include file of life. I've looked at file of life and it's magnets, and I don't necessarily think we want anything magnetized when people are putting all their cell phone stuff in these bags. But we've got some other options. We will continue to work with the fire departments, ambulance, and so forth.
I'm gonna say call Steph, because we used to have the little, well, not the little, but the pill bottle ones that people put in their freezers.
Yeah, and some people, now all the vial of lives I've looked at, they're magnetic and they put them on the refrigerator.
Yeah, but a lot of people have like stainless steel fridges that they don't stick there, or they don't have anything on their fridge, they don't want it, so we give them, they're actually like probably 3 inches tall, and they're
Do
probably an
you
inch.
guys have those at the fire department?
We used to go, so I'm saying, talk to Steph, she might be able to get some,
So,
she doesn't
'cause
have any.
I am calling everybody I can to get everything donated, and we will have a full thing at townwide tags, well, say if
Because
not
we give them
before.
to people.
Yeah,
When we go to do CPR, blood pressure checks, things like that,
that we do.
we go to the Gill home or the apartments and we give them to people, anybody who asks,
Yep.
so. Yeah,
Well,
call Steph and talk to her.
To her, I will talk to her. I guess the big thing is we get people into the shelter and we need to know first emergency contact, second emergency contact, that information. We did have a lot more health issues this time. We need to work with you guys and to ease up on that stuff. The other thing is, we talked about this before, Don't Pitch in the Ditch campaign. We've been working very closely with Dartmouth. Most of you have seen on Facebook, we've had groups of students here. We've done a number of roads. Hopefully we'll do more. Rick just got the full report today, which showed what they found. We had one guy on the team He was great. He works for the railroads when he's not at school, and he does ditches, drains, and culverts. So he was aces, and he was teaching everybody. We discovered it was better if we weren't with them because they could move a lot faster and cover a lot more ground. But I'll let Rick have a chance to read the full report, and then he'll give that report to you. But we will be adding to that in July because we hope to have Andrew back again to help us. But we are doing a lot of different things. But as I said before, culverts will help our roads. Culverts will help some of our homeowners. We do have some hazardous mitigation projects in place now. But the big stuff, we can't do anything about because that's the river, and we've got to work together as a team. The one thing I didn't realize till I was serving on this group, do you know that Cavendish gets the lion's share of Black River Good Neighbors because we have the largest year-round population of any of those other of the other towns? So we are, it's just, you know, these are for services for people who live here year-round. So we're actually doing a lot of work in Cavendish as a result. So if you have any questions, call me, talk to me. Yeah, Bob. You look like you had a
No,
question.
I'm fine.
And I'll get that report. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Yeah,
One-
he just got it today.
One thing we do notice, and we did notice, we kind of knew it was going to happen, is culverts are in rough shape. They're, when you had an event like last year, a lot of them are plugged, and when we have, or partially getting plugged, and when you have that many, 720-ish or something in town, it's hard to get to them all. So this group going through, looking at them and walking the road is a big help to identify where the major problem is right now.
Oh, and as a result of this, Dartmouth is gonna work with us on establishing what we're just calling culvert crawlers, that this happens every year. So that, but we'll do that in conjunction with the town highway crew. Rick, we're not doing this solo by any stretch. And that'll be through Black River Action Team.
Doris?
Yes, as the town health officer, that's why I'm here. The building, I don't know the number of it, it's across from Singleton's where,
415, I think.
what was it? It's at the Red House. We've been there before and it was all construction. And then a lot of stuff popped up on Facebook over the weekend saying there was garbage there. So I went over today and there is in fact garbage there. And so I just need your blessing to write a health order. And Bob, you'll have to sign it, because there's flies all over the place and it's not a pretty sight. So, like I said, we thought it was construction. Rick
It
and
was
I both
before, it
agreed.
wasn't really a health thing before, but now it is.
Now it is. So, to clarify that, to calm down all those people that were on Facebook, we know, and appreciate that, that they did. That's the good part of the media, so. So I will write an order and I'll have
Do we know
done.
what the house number is there?
I believe,
Pardon?
I don't want to say, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay,
I believe it's,
I think I know which one it is. Yep.
I don't want to say, because then I don't want to say somebody's a wrong address and
We dealt with that during the.
on the meeting.
So I know what it is.
All right. Any other here citizens? If not, we'll move on to Vermont Endurance 100.
I got a letter a few weeks ago, so I just wanted to throw out, make sure everybody's aware that the Vermont Endurance 100 will be on July 20th through 21st. It starts 4 a.m. on the 20th and will need to be finished by 10 a.m. on the 21st. They're only in Cavendish for a short amount of time. I'm assuming it's gonna be Saturday afternoon-ish, throughout a whole period of time, because, everybody's got a different pace. And I do have a map here. Basically, they're gonna be going from Reading up to Birmingham's on Birmingham Road, then through trails over to Morgelloni Road, down Atkinson to Brook Road, then to Town Farm Road, then back into Reading. There's You know, I'd like to say a little bit about, you know, the Vermont 100. It's a nonprofit endurance run that benefits the Vermont Adaptive Ski and Sports Program. And it's one of the, I guess it's one of the largest fundraisers for the Vermont Adaptive Ski Program. So it's a great thing. So
They also really volunteered and helped us last year during the flood. They were
Did they?
really a great group of volunteers. They not only worked to clean, but they also provided food. So the night that we had the chicken supper, that was from 100. They were a great group of volunteers.
That's it. We'll move to liquor license approvals.
I have the newest list of applicants for approval. I can go through them one by one. I wasn't able to print them all out or get them by email because of our internet today, but I do have a list. We have Singleton's, who is looking for a second-class license. We have Outer Limits, that's looking for a malt manufacturing license. Singleton's for a tobacco license. The Oleo Corporation for an outside consumption permit. The Oleo Corporation for another outside consumption permit. Murdoch's on the Green for an outside consumption permit. Murdoch's on the Green for a first class restaurant bar license. And Murdoch's on the Green for a third class restaurant bar license. And I believe that was going to be all for this year. We did a few of them last month, but
What is your pleasure on that?
I'll move we approve the liquor license that were spoken of.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Okay, we'll move on to new payroll tax.
starting in July 1st, 2024, because of Child Care Bill Act 76, there's a new child care payroll tax. This payroll tax, it imposes a 0.44% tax to go in effect on July 1st, and employers have the option to either cover it completely or split it with employees at a 0.33% for the employer and 0.11 for the employee. This, just doing quick math, it amounts to under $2,500 total, and the 0.11 is right around under $600 for the year, so,
For the town, are you speaking of the town?
for the town, yeah. So when the town covers the full portion, it's under 20, right around $2,400. And the 0.11% is $600 or so. But we have no option. The only option that we have as a town is whether we cover it all or have the employees cover 0.11%. I'm all for, well,
Me too.
Me
So,
too. Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we cover this whole payroll tax.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, we'll move on to new truck discussion.
some exciting news. I know last fall we talked about this, about me looking for a truck, and if we were to put in for an order, we were about 18 months out. And even if we put in a truck for order now, we're still 18 months out. So we kind of waited, knowing that the opportunity could arise for a truck. Basically what it is some of these body companies, whether it's HP Fairfield or Viking, whoever it is, ordered trucks because they knew this was a problem. Now these trucks are coming in and becoming available. And this is one of them, and Reed's gave us the phone call as soon as they were here. The last time they got one in, somebody jumped on it from Maine and bought it sight unseen because trucks are not available. So he did give me a quote. I just barely got this because it happened pretty quickly. I did look at the truck last week with Fawn. Some of this stuff, he did give us a trade-in allowance of $10,000 for the 2011 10-wheeler that we have. That's on here. I talked to him. We can make the decision to sell it on our own if we wanted to, but it's in here in this quote for now. And this is a fully loaded truck. It's with the plow, with the wing, and everything. This truck is, if the okay is given as soon as it's purchased by somebody, which if it's not us giving them the go-ahead tomorrow, it'll be somebody else. It's scheduled to go into the body shop, and they're looking probably July and have it by August, is what we're talking. The truck is $287,225 minus the $10,000 for $277,225.
Refresh my memory, we have that?
We do not, we budgeted more money into the, for equipment. So we can make lease payments on this, but we do not have enough to cover. We budgeted, the plan kind of was to budget enough for a lease payment until we can build up the amount that we actually have to purchase these.
Okay.
And it is in the budget to be able to purchase.
So-
or to
So
lease.
you're basically looking at the lease then?
I need to still get the
Okay,
terms on the
spend them all.
lease, and then see how it compares to, Vermont does have municipal loans for equipment at 1%. And then I just haven't had a chance to compare them. I haven't even talked to the lease person yet on see
No.
what those terms are.
Do we, you, Fawn, think we could get more than 10,000 for a truck, or?
I think the
Would you
truck
think
is,
it's worth it's not worth the hassle?
I think it's worth more than 10,000, but I don't, it could sit there for a long time.
Right.
And you're looking, I mean, if we were talking a 2017 truck, or, one of those maybe, but a 2011,
Yeah,
I don't,
right, just, yeah,
Get rid of it.
we might not ever get rid of it, or, I'm not sure. You almost are looking for another town to purchase it, because they're set up for towns, not necessarily heavy construction, so not everybody wants them.
okay, what did I just?
And that's with
was
the
wondering.
stainless body, right?
It's for the stainless body.
Or the dump body?
I did talk to him about that, because I was never sold on the stainless bodies before. Everybody thought they would last 2 trucks, and then nobody ever sent them for 2 trucks. But the price has come down to, now a stainless steel body is about $2,000 more than a steel body, and you get way more than that back on when you trade it in.
Yeah.
So this is for a stainless body.
Okay.
What is your pleasure?
I make a motion, we go ahead and let Rick figure out lease or buy.
Well, yeah. I mean, you approve the
Yeah.
purchase? Okay.
You can figure out the details.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
I'll jump on that, or
Oh, yeah, you're not
I'm
gonna
sorry,
get
who
one.
seconded
we'll have
it?
something for you.
Did you second
Yes.
Bob?
Dangers in elect buildings.
So we had a neighbor reach out to us recently with concerns on this. This is buildings that we've gone to last fall. Doris and I had been there, looking at it more of a health standpoint. And at the time, I mean, it wasn't a huge health concern, but it was kind of getting to the point of dangerous. And this winter kind of took its toll on this property. And the neighbor has legitimate concerns that it could come down. So, by our ordinance, it says the safety building inspector. I don't know if we have one appointed, I don't know if it's assumed that it's me, but, needs to start these procedures to have an actual, inspection. Now, I'm kind of looking for the board to say go ahead with this, but the board obviously wouldn't be involved with the inspection or the findings or anything, because if there is an appeal, it would be heard by the board. So I just need the go-ahead that, yep, without a building safety inspector, we can put this together and start the process, but it won't include the board
Is it-
until the inspection is done.
Is this just talking about the house, or the house and the trailer?
It's the house trailer and the attached barn, it's pretty much,
Because I saw there was electricity there, I was surprised.
yeah,
In the trailer there is.
There is, yeah, there was a light on.
yep.
Well, somebody's living in the trailer.
Oh, right.
Oh, really? They weren't in the fall, I didn't think.
Nobody's
Mr.
living here.
Hoskowitz probably can tell you what you need to know.
Birds are living in it,
Birds only?
yeah, they go in a soffit.
Okay. I thought somebody was living in it.
No, there hasn't been anybody in it for a while,
Yeah, quite a while.
In the trailer?
no.
Or the
I
house,
think it's
obviously.
inhabitable.
I don't think, I know the house, I don't believe the
is
house,
not-
definitely
is
not.
full of mold,
Yep.
there's holes in the roof,
Yeah,
the owners wouldn't even go into the blue house.
Hmm.
What's that tell you?
all right.
Yeah, we went through it, the board went through it, what, about, I don't know, 15 years ago, and,
Oh, really?
yeah, decided to condemn, I think we
It's before my.
formally condemned it or
I haven't been
something.
in it.
Well, I know Brendan contacted them
Right.
through a registered letter, probably just before you came on,
Yeah,
and there was no response. So it's not like it's news, you know, to them.
Yeah, brother went through it probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He told him then he told him it was a tear down.
Yeah.
He said he refused to do any work on it.
so do it,
Mrs. Webster's house is like this close to
Right.
it.
Yeah.
It's- I mean, I'm surprised when that barn came down. The way it came down, it's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't go on,
Yeah. Really the other way.
Right.
didn't go on her house.
I mean, before the barn came down, the sheet metal on the roof was, during windstorms, was flying off. It didn't make it to the road, but, oh my God, you talk about metal flying through the air.
yeah, it's pretty dangerous, it needs to, it
It
needs,
needs to come down.
So
It
what
is-
is the process, Rick?
Yeah,
we have to start, we'd have to do an inspection. Pull together whoever we deem necessary, you know, it would be, my guess is myself and you as the health, the fire department. And I think we can start there. I don't believe we need any engineer to tell us whether it's safe or not. We will start there, we'll do the inspection. We have to notify them that we're gonna do an inspection, give them 72 hours at least by certified mail. Then we can do the inspection, and then they get a copy of the inspection. Then they do have an opportunity to appeal
Yeah.
that. And then we go from there. And then that inspection will line out what we want to see done, whether it's torn down, secured, you know, that type of thing. And they'll have time to do the work. There's no set time to do that. You can't give them less than 15 days, I think it is. But you end up kind of picking a time, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days, something like that, to get it done.
I know Jeff Stearns looked at it and gave Jerry, I'm pretty sure he gave him a price on it, but nothing ever became of it.
Now, that property is also in the floodway, flood hazard area, and river corridor. Complete tear downs and stuff, maybe you can't build something back there. A rebuild, you can. It's kind of a fine line on
that
what's a
rebuild.
rebuild and what's a complete tear down, but,
Probably an extended foundation.
Yeah, if you left the cellar hole,
Yeah.
I guess.
it might have to be raised, I'm not sure the elevation,
you
but it
might
might have to be raised up.
Yes,
And then, but there's just so you know, there's just more to it than just being able to rebuild it for where it sits because of the flood hazard regulations.
Did you get your questions answered? that you were
Yes.
concerned about?
So,
Just a couple of things, as far as the health goes, would be the flying metal, the roof, the holes in the roof, the loose slate, the loose bricks on the chimney, the mold in the house, and I'm sure that the peeling paint has lead in it, because the house was built years ago. Those are just a few of the items.
Right.
The house itself is fractured, the barn is collapsed, the foundation for the barn is caved in, so.
I think it
many
def,
obstacles
It's
there.
time to get the area.
it's definitely it's definitely falls under the dangerous
I
building, for
don't-
sure.
You know, to be the Websters there, living there and have that thing fall on you while you're sleeping or something.
Yeah.
Jesus. And when that fell in, I never heard the sound, so I don't know when it happened. I know it was during a snowstorm.
Right.
Okay.
so Rick, if that is taken down this year, Brad is gonna be doing a huge amount of planting in floodways and floodplains, so if that's something we could do that, to have that.
See, the
work
town
for
still
us.
won't own the I mean, the town won't own the property, so.
Okay.
We can make sure that they make it safe and for everybody and get it down, but what they do with the property after is theirs.
Up to them, right? All right, if there's
We
any
need
more.
to vote on that? No.
Yes, we're gonna do that. Yep.
I would like a vote on that one.
Yep, we should. I'll make a motion to give Rick the go-ahead to get the paperwork started on giving that health removed.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much, by the way. Appreciate it.
Yearly sheriff's contract.
So during the budget talks, we had the sheriff's department come here. He kind of gave us his level of cost and services. In this contract for $27,000 for the year, starting July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025, is for that price that we all agreed upon, which is the same services we have now, 8 hours a week, split between 2 different days a week, for that $27,000.
So basically the same as last year.
It's the same as last year, I think it's just it's a little bit more,
More,
but,
because he went, yeah, they went up.
yeah.
Any comment?
No, sounds good.
What's your pleasure then?
I'll make a motion that we have Rich sign the contract. Is
Um,
it us or you?
no, it's Bob.
All right, let Bob sign the contract for the sheriff's department for the upcoming year.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Tim?
Move back, old business, digital.
The digital feedbacks.
Yeah, feedback. Signs.
These have been discussed quite a bit. So tonight I'm asking for ARPA funds for these. I did get a new quote. Obviously, like everything else, it's gone up a little bit. But I just want to make sure on where. First of all, I mean, the select board has to approve the, ARPA funds being used for these. And if so, where and how many we're gonna purchase to put out there. There's 2 different ones I got quotes from. I'll get more quotes. This is only one, but just to give us numbers that we're talking about. I'll get a few more quotes, obviously go for the least amount. There was basically 2 different sign sizes. First one being 15.5 by 13.5. That's the digital display of it. They're about $3,500 a piece.
Inches, right?
Yes, inches, which I'm assuming we could probably go with. The other ones, we got a quote for are 24 inches by 17 inches. Those are, about $600 more, about $4,100. I did the quote off of 5 of them. So it was $16,437 for the 15.5 by 13.5, and 19,352 for the 24 by 17. But like I say, I will look at the state approved contractors for these signs, and maybe one more, just make sure we have the best price possible. But I wanted to have at least a price going into tonight on
So
whether or not
that's
we use
the price
ARPA
for
funds.
5 signs.
That's the price for 5 signs, because the original quote was for 4 signs. I'm assuming that was coming into Cavendish, and then, on both sides of Cavendish and both sides of Proctorsville. I would think you would at least need 5, because Depot Street to me seems more important than the ones in the middle. So whether you did 3, 1 coming into Cavendish, 1 coming into Proctorsville, 1 on Depot Street, or you do,
And they're all 35? They're always set at 35, the speed limit?
all those would be 35. I think these are all programmable, but those would all be the 35.
And they all need electric connections?
See,
or-
these quotes are off, the unit itself's only $2,400. The solar battery kit and mounting brackets is another $600. And the solar panel is another $500. So they would be solar.
Yeah, that's simple. It's cheaper.
Yeah. I know one of them.
What about maintenance? Because I drive around towns and sometimes those things glitch out and then it looks so weird. But
Remain to be seen. They have a 3-year warranty, but not so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Remain to be
Okay.
seen on if they're an issue. I think they're a lot simpler than what the school has for lights, because those are, as we all know, an issue. But they're also not new, so. But I think they work great. I think they're, I pay attention to them. Not that I ever go over the speed limit, but whenever I see it. I mean, there's different options too. They don't have to show you red when you're over, but they can. There's little different layouts on whether or not it looks like one whole speed limit sign with the display in the middle, or it just says on the top, this is your speed with just the box. So there's a few different
A
things.
lot of them say, when it's over, they say slow down.
I don't know if you need to be that, but I mean, like going into Ludlow, I don't know if it says slow down, but it does change color.
Color, change color, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, to change
Yeah,
color.
it lets you know. So.
Yep.
So we needed a motion to approve
Yeah.
this purchase from the ARPA funds.
Yep. Which wouldn't exceed the 20,000. That's for the bigger sign. I need to go out and look at a different few signs. I wanna go ask what Ludlow has going into the town, what size are those signs? Cause you can see them well enough. I think the bigger one is more if you're doing 50 miles an hour down the road, not 35.
Then I'll make a motion that we approve Rick finding out or purchasing some of these and not spending more than $20,000 of the ARPA funds.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Probably, I don't know how, that was a little vague as far as what was left from the ARPA funds, so I don't know if at some point we could get like a readout on what has been allocated or what's.
Right, yeah,
You
I can do that for next meeting.
Just to,
Right, there's still some left on the books, not in my mind necessarily, because there's other projects I think, one of the things is, I've been talking to is, I guess this is getting off subject, but it's on ARPA funds, and I'll get a better list of what we have allocated in money-wise, but we may have enough to put some sidewalks. I know we've lacking in putting sidewalks in town. we really haven't started putting a whole lot of money into a fund to start building up for sidewalks. So this might be a good opportunity for that. Now,
Yeah,
in
you
all
just
honesty-
have to, because I don't know, the rules of ARPA, like, sometimes
Right.
it got a little vague as far as what was acceptable and not, and then it's all gonna be reviewed.
Mhm.
So you have to be careful, because otherwise we could get stuck with this. If we
Right.
say, wait a minute, this is outside the limit, we're not approved,
yeah,
then.
these signs are approved, they are.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I'm saying some other,
Some
you
of the
know,
other
there's some
things.
of the other, just as
Thought
a
we
precaution.
elected to put it into general services.
We did, which opens up, and if we didn't do general services, we wouldn't have even been able to do these signs, but by doing that, we were able to do these signs with the ARPA funds. Sidewalk, it doesn't get you far with sidewalks, so
And,
that's,
and there's not another report till next year, or?
well, it'll have to be,
There was one in April.
Allocated,
One had to be
right.
done, right, that was.
I'm assuming there's gonna have to be one by the end of this year, since the money needs to be
Right,
allocated
it
to
all has to
different,
be allocated, even though not spent. but
not spent for another
allocated, so.
2 years, but it's, all needs to be allocated, so.
Yeah.
Move on to the manager's report.
Very well prepared for this one. Kind of forgot about this. But I do want to, I'm happy to report that Willie has been cleared by his doctor and is back to work. So, which is great news for us. I'm really happy to have Willie back, but I'm even happier that he's able to come back. So,
Yeah, I saw him when I went up to the dump.
did you,
We had words.
did you? Well,
Next time.
every time that I-
Not. He's like, I know. Like,
every
okay.
time I was there, somebody was giving him,
Yeah.
you know,
A little
that-
bit of grief.
yeah, drink
Yeah.
water, that Mountain Dew's not, you know, something. Everybody had something for him. Because they want him back and want him healthy,
He
so.
was smiling. He looked good. So.
Yes, he was more than happy to be able to come back, and I'm happy for him, so. Happy for us too. It's great to have him back. I did want to give a little update on FEMA progress as well. We just submitted a few more projects that are in for review. We did combine Densmore and Cavendish Gulf Road. That is in for review for a total of $299,000. We have townwide debris, which is category A, in for review. That's a total of $400,354. We have also townwide emergency measures, which is 44,000 and some change. So we're moving forward with all these projects, and we got some big number ones on there and a few more big number ones to go. But we have a couple that are done, waiting for reimbursement. We kind of ran into a snag. They use sam.gov, which is just another agency, another registration. Our registration ran out in 2013 because it's supposed to be reviewed and updated every year. It's been quite a struggle and hassle trying to figure out what the problem was. They couldn't tell me because I was not on the list, but I couldn't be put on the list because the person that was on the list isn't here from back in 2013. I believe we're finally at the point where I know what the problem is. I have been able to get myself on the list as administrator, so I think we're gonna be reinstated pretty soon with that, so we can actually see the money come in. Because I mean, we have Winery Road and Maple Street, it's not a lot of money. You know, but it's still $30,000 or $40,000 waiting to come in, so. I'll get that figured out hopefully real soon. I starting to have some faith that we're gonna figure it out with FEMA, so. And that's it for that.
That's all you have?
Yep.
Shannon, on the business?
Nothing for me.
George?
Bob, I got a question. Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, I'll give you
I
time.
noticed there's a couple of bridges in town where the guardrails are all trashed. You got to do something about that?
The ones that are from the last flooding, we have them on the list with FEMA. We have Brook Road, Meadowbrook Farm Road, there was a few more.
What's the road that goes off of Davis Road there? Is up the other end.
Oh, Heald Road,
Heald Road.
that's on there too.
That's the one that I saw a lot of trashed guardrails laying by.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we couldn't get the company here last year, there's not a lot of companies that put guardrails in. So I did contact them earlier, this spring, we're hopefully gonna get them relatively soon. They were put on our damage report, the roads from FEMA, they're not part of what we put in for projects yet because those roads aren't completely finished,
Well,
because of the
The
guardrails.
one at the bottom of Field Hill, that bridge was trashed by a truck. You get any kind of insurance payment from that or anything?
That was quite a while ago, and it wasn't. There was a truck stuck there last year, but I don't believe they did that to that. That was done before that.
It was done when they had the power poles all knocked down on 131. And they were routing traffic up there around that back way, and they let a tractor trailer go up that way.
When was, that was
I don't
quite a few years ago,
Yeah,
right?
A few years ago, yeah.
But I was coming through that road the other direction from the truck. He was stuck up by the bridge there, and he was back from it a little ways, so I got around the corner and went down. And as I was going down the road, I could hear a bunch of crunching going on.
Hmm.
And I asked the guy down there directing traffic. He says, "Oh, he got by me."
I know we had 2 trucks go down that road within the last year. So I don't know why.
Any kind of signage up there on the road? No trucks over 20 feet or whatever?
Probably not. It's kind of like on snowmobile trails, they say, there's not a lot of signs that say don't drive, but the GPS sends them that way, you know? It's, I don't believe we have signs like that on a lot of our roads saying just,
If you had it down at the 131
you know.
entrance there to it, they wouldn't get stuck.
But I
up
don't know
there.
where those trucks are coming from. They weren't coming up Brook Road. They came down Field Hill to try to make that corner to go down Brook Road. The 2 that I saw there,
Yeah, the other one was coming up Brook Road.
coming up Brook Road.
And we're gonna go over the bridge.
Jeez.
And the bridge shows it, I mean, yeah.
Right.
All right. And George, you have any?
I have looked at those though. We have to do something there. But
I was just wondering, I noticed there was like a new open meeting law. I don't know if that went through where some people have to go through training and everything, like the town managers and chairmen, so I didn't know if you were aware of that or something, but it was on the, VLCT thing, and it sounded like it was something we would have to address at some point, so.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. It's a training for town.
Yes,
managers?
it's under the new open meeting law that was, I forget the number, it's I guess 22 or something. And it said that, it seemed to say that the town managers and chairman of the board had to go through this. Secretary of State was gonna do some training, so I don't know, I just thought I'd.
I'll look into it. I'm not aware of it.
Right,
So,
'cause, they just
Thanks
closed the
about the use of
session,
Zoom and
so.
all that.
oh, it's about the going forward, what you can and are supposed to do on.
Yep.
That's all.
I'll look into that.
Mike?
Junk. Every time we get on the junk ordinance, something happens. With the town manager, we flood, something. But I think we should bring it up again and start talking about how we're going to
Move forward on that.
evenly do that, whether we rely on people reporting, I don't know how often the guys get around town and see stuff and can take pictures and report. But something's gotta happen at some point about some
Right.
places we've got.
Right now, there's no access to the Proctor Cemetery. And that's been a big issue for the Singletons, because they see it, but that cemetery has proctors in there, and their ancestors, their descendants, would like to visit, and they can't.
And I know, I agree we should do it fairly,
Right.
but there's one on Depot Street.
There's a few, there's a,
So,
we know what.
that I can see, and it's like, I wanna do something about it. But, so maybe, I don't know if the guys can take pictures or report on stuff that they see, or if it's, we rely on it, if somebody complains, we're gonna do something about it, and
Yep.
that's how we're gonna operate, and I'm okay with defending that.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna complain about something, we'll go look and we'll start letting people know they need to do something. But,
Same with the derelict buildings too, there's one or two.
A lot of these, these ordinances kind of, they kind of work that way, because we're not out looking at everything in those eyes at all times, because there's a lot of other stuff that we're doing. I mean, we can have this discussion next meeting. I mean, you tend to fear people being vindictive against neighbors,
Right.
with them reporting. I have thought about it in the past, we can talk about it more, but in, you know, is it time that Cavendish has like a code enforcement officer, that it, not a full-time, just somebody that, if there's a complaint, they can go and check something out, write a report, and then come back to the select board, with their findings.
yeah,
You know, on a per diem basis, you know, that's it. Somebody completely unbiased and, reports to the select board. Cause I'm not so sure, I know the highway guys have no time to do all
No.
that stuff.
but that's why I said, you know,
And I'm not finding a whole lot of free time myself. But we can talk about that next week and how that, yeah, you know, talk about all of it, and see where we go, but I agree we'll have to do something to get it rolling.
All righty, I have nothing. A motion to adjourn if we're all set.
I'll make said motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?